So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at what type of monitors you should be using for working with Stable Diffusion and also Photoshop. Stable Diffusion, very recent piece of software, and Photoshop has been around for about 30 years, but it turns out there's a lot of similarities in terms of the kind of displays you should be working with when working with these two apps. SDXL is now more than a year old, and with the announcement for SDXL 1.0, the very latest version, latest and greatest version of Stable Diffusion, what Stability AI said with the announcement of its arrival was SDXL 1.0 is particularly well tuned for vibrant and accurate colors with better contrast, lighting, and shadows than its predecessor, all in native 1024 by 1024 resolution. And as we can see here, we've got the intense shadows and high dynamic range, we've got the accurate colors. It all looks very good, but it turns out when you export images from Stable Diffusion, you get a standard JPEG, PNG. It's going to be an 8-bit image, nothing special about that. And as far as the 1024 by 1024 resolution, we need to take that into account. That's larger than the resolution of most monitors in the 1990s. But it is still fairly small by the 4K standards of today. But you can use Stable Diffusion to massively increase the size of your outputs using super resolution. And that is a technique that uses artificial intelligence to create larger images so you can easily get to 4K or even larger. I've seen some amazingly large and detailed images produced by Stable Diffusion. So the long and short of it is, for working with generative AI, we need the kind of monitors that we use for other work like photo editing, like video editing. Let's take a look at some recommendations. Now, when choosing a monitor, we need to take several factors into account, including the size, the amount of screen real estate that you get, and also the resolution of the monitor, the panel type. So we have IPS, in-plane switching, vertical alignment, and some of the older monitors may be twisted pneumatic, although we're not going to be recommending any of those. Refresh rate and response rate is going to be important if you do a lot of gaming on the monitor, and some of the monitors I'm going to recommend will be okay for gaming as well. Connectivity, USB, HDMI, DisplayPort, etc. Ergonomics, how good and easy is it to work on these monitors during an 8-hour day? Or if you use Stable Diffusion, it is so easy to get addicted. You're going to be having 16-hour sessions with Stable Diffusion, I'm sure. Now, you also have to consider color accuracy and gamut. This is very important for photo editing, especially if you're doing things like print work. And we also want to take into account brightness and HDR. Well, HDR I think is pretty useless on the Windows platform. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but HDR is not going to be a consideration. We also want to take into account the price and the brand. So we're going to be looking at entry-level monitors, not the most expensive, not the most professional, but the ones that have the best price to performance ratio. So now that that little lecture is out of the way, we'll take a look at the first recommendation, which is this Philips 22-inch frameless monitor, and it comes in at 75 Hz. Now, with the monitors from Philips in the United States, they have got a 4-year advanced replacement warranty. That is really important because it gives you the assurance that you can have the replacement before you have to send off the unit that you're using for repair. And that 4-year warranty in the United States, it's something that you find only with professional monitors. You don't find it with most consumer monitors. This is a consumer monitor, but it has a lot of features that make it very attractive. Now, in terms of the connectivity, this is an area where possibly it may be weak. We have HDMI, DVI, and D-sub. DVI is no longer the most current version of the digital connections. HDMI is still very current. However, D-sub is a stowaway from the 1980s. This is VESA mountable, as you can see the VESA mount there. I'm going to recommend just monitors that are VESA mountable because I think that produces a lot of ergonomic benefit when it comes to any type of work monitor. Now, this monitor comes with a number of factors that make it very desirable. Now the price at $79.99 is about $40 less than when this first came out, and it's now about 6 years since I started recommending this line of Philips monitors. They're all what are known as ultra wide color, or what Philips calls ultra wide color. Philips, what they mean by ultra wide color is that it has a very wide color range. So specifically, it is 121% of the sRGB range. That means you get very vibrant colors. It has a decent stand. It has a bit of weight on the stand, and it also is reasonably bright at about 250 nits. But at $80, you won't find anything that compares with this in terms of the quality for photo editing. Now, of the 6 that I found that were similar to this in terms of the brand and the marketing, this is the only one left, and you won't even find this one in the United Kingdom. This is just in the United States. However, even as this particular monitor seems to be coming to the end of its lifespan, and that's unfortunate, but we need to consider that there is actually possibly something even better which is going to replace it. Now, the Philips monitor lineup is changing constantly, and this one here is amazing in terms of its value. This is one which comes from the gaming lineup from Philips. However, it has fantastic color qualities like the one that we were looking at before. This one, however, is a gaming monitor, and it comes in with 165 Hertz refresh rate. That's fantastic for gaming. You'll be able to get fantastic graphics and fantastic response when you're using this monitor in gaming. It also has a feature called MPRT, that's motion picture response time, 1 millisecond. It's a little bit difficult to explain what that is, but essentially you will have a less blurred image when playing games with MPRT turned on. The one disadvantage of MPRT is that it does mean you lose control of the brightness of the display, and the brightness does tend to diminish a little bit when you're using MPRT. But apart from that, the 165 Hz will make for very smooth gaming. The monitor comes with a very good quality stand, so you've got this very heavy stand, and this guy here is going to be coming in at probably about a couple of kilos just for the stand itself, and the monitor itself will be another couple of kilos. Amazon has got inaccurate information about the weight of some of these monitors. In terms of the connections, you've got HDMI and DisplayPort. You've also got audio out, but you can tilt it and you can raise it and lower it on the provided stand. But I would say with lots of these monitors, you want to get a decent VESA mount because it makes life a lot easier. Now, in terms of the price, 110, it is this, you were paying about $250 for this type of monitor, not even 2 years ago. So the price is very affordable. It uses a VA panel with a 3500 to 1 contrast ratio. That is one of the best that we're going to see on the market right now. And it comes in with a color gamut of 126% of sRGB, nearly 88% of the Adobe RGB range. So if you are doing photo editing and you want to get an accurate representation of the more saturated colors, this is going to give you that. And at about 88% of the Adobe RGB range, I think that's extremely good, particularly at $110. This is, most of the prices we're seeing now are amazingly good, and I'm quite honestly not sure how long they're going to spend at these sort of insanely good value prices. However, this monitor is a full HD monitor. It is a 1080p monitor. We want to take a look at larger displays, and the one that I'm going to recommend next is going to be a QHD monitor, and the specs on that monitor are absolutely wild. Now, the Philips Evnia 27-inch gaming monitor, this one is an insanely good monitor. It's one that I recommended at the start of the year, and I'm recommending it again at the end of the year. But they've cut the price by about a third. So it is extremely good value right now. And Again, as with the first monitor that we looked at, I think this may be end of line. I think this may be what they used to call in the old days a clearance price or a clearance sale. We don't get those a lot on Amazon because products are supposedly always available on Amazon. They never actually get cleared. But this looks to me like a clearance price, and I wouldn't hang around to purchase this at this price. £229. This is the only UK monitor that we're going to be looking at. Everything else is in the United States. Sadly, I could not find anything similar to this in the United States right now. And again, that's one of the reasons I think this is a clearance price. I think we're getting to the end of this particular line. The specs are amazing. First of all, the monitor looks good. It's very similar in appearance to the previous monitor. And you can see if you watch the video I did at the start of the year, which covered this exact monitor, you can see that the marketing has changed quite a bit. They've got this woman, cyborg woman, on a bike. The marketing has changed quite a lot, and you'll see that they're using now Evnia in the marketing. That is a new name. Expect to see more Philips gaming monitors coming in with this particular type of branding. HDR 400, that means about 350 nits. It does have HDR, but like I say, I think HDR is, you know, neither here nor there on the Windows platform. It comes in with 170 Hertz refresh rate, which is excellent for gaming, but with a 1440p monitor, 170 Hertz is going to require a fairly powerful graphics card if you want to play at that sort of level. And you'll need a decent CPU, but the CPU is not really the key thing. You also have another one which comes in at 240 Hertz. Again, this is just in the UK, comes in at about £440. So this one has reduced in price by about by about a third. So if you were to get it at its normal price, it's about 320. Now I recommended it at that price earlier this year, so this price is insanely good. The Nano IPS monitor panel is one that gives us insanely good color and contrast. Now the panel provides 10 bits. We have an IPS panel that can cover 133% of the sRGB range, and it also covers 93% of the Adobe 1998 range. That's insanely colorful. That is an insane amount of saturation, and that comes from the Nano IPS panel. Now I'm going to link to all of these monitors in the description, and because we don't have anything that is similar in terms of the specs in the United States from Philips, I'm going to possibly link to this guy here, which is the Philips Brilliance monitor. This is a 4K monitor with a very good sRGB coverage of 122. It has a lower refresh rate, 60 Hertz, and it doesn't really, it's not compelling for gaming, but it does have many of the advantages that the Philips monitor range has. And you might want to go for this one in the United States. It is 4K, so it is quite a lot larger in terms of resolution than the other ones we've looked at, and it is on a deal, so you get a 20% discount. If you wanted to go for exactly the same specs as the 27-inch one that we had in the UK, you would have to spend $393. This is the only one that has the same specs as that Philips Nano IPS monitor. This is also a Nano IPS monitor, 165 Hertz. But it is very good. All of these Nano IPS monitors have excellent color, but I would say $393 is maybe a bit much for a gaming focused monitor, which is not quite as focused for multi-purpose use as the Philips monitors are. Now, so far, all of the monitors that we've looked at have been geared towards multi-purpose use, consumer-oriented gaming. Let's take a look at one monitor that is for professional use. Now the ViewSonic VP256 Color Pro monitor, this is geared towards professionals, and this is the first monitor that we are looking at which is really specifically designed for professionals working with color, video, editing, image editing, design. This one comes with a lot of features that you will find only with professional monitors, and it has very good ergonomics. So with most of the ViewSonic monitors, they can be used in a variety of different orientations. They will tilt to portrait, they will tilt to landscape. You can do your photo editing. You can link several devices to them. HDMI 1.4 display port. They also have USB Type-C, which can be used for all sorts of different workflows. But let's take a look at what else you have specifically for the professional. Now, the monitor is a Pantone validated display, and what they say here is each Pantone validated display has been rigorously tested and deemed capable of reproducing the Pantone matching system colors. Whether it's film editing, graphic design, or other jobs where color is critical, these certified displays are built to eliminate guesswork and help you create with confidence so you can finish your assignments with flying colors. So where you've got a client that needs accurate colors, this thing is the baby for you. We also have the other features that we've looked at before, the cabling with USB Type-C and what they call amazing color accuracy. Each of our monitors is factory calibrated to deliver an amazing delta E of less than 2. That's a measure of color accuracy, and that's what you want for professional monitors, delta E of less than 2. Now, the Philips monitor that we looked at, the UK one, has a delta E of less than 2, and I think all the other Philips monitors are color calibrated to a delta E value, usually less than 2 or less than 3, and that's one of the reasons I favor Philips. They have got a very professional approach in every way. Even with their consumer monitors, the ones that I've recommended, you generally speaking find that they have accurate colors coming out of the factory. Now, this one will have a detailed calibration report, and it also covers several color spaces: sRGB, EBU, SMTP, Rec 709, BT 709, and DICOM SIM color spaces. On top of this, it has got what they call excellent screen uniformity, which means that you won't get dark patches and bright patches. It has uniformity. Typically, they're looking at a uniformity of about 5% deviation, or LV 5%, which means that the luminance values don't deviate from the expected value by more than 5% across the entire display. This is something you'll only find with ViewSonic. I think is one of the few companies that offers this. Now, I want to recommend another Philips monitor, this time at 4K, this time a little bit more affordable than the one that we recommended before. This is the 288E2E. This is a 28-inch 4K monitor. It has got 120% of the sRGB coverage, pretty decent ergonomics. It has all the other features that I like with the Philips monitors. They tend to come out of the box pretty color accurate. The brightness is a little bit dimmer than the other ones we've looked at. It is just 300 nits. I would say with this one, if you can afford the $299 one that we looked at earlier, I would definitely go for that one. I think that one is a much better quality one. Although this is pretty decent, it's not offering you as much of a discount in terms of the absolute value. And I think it's about the same quality as the Samsung one that I normally recommend in my previous videos. I might have a link to some of the previous videos because I think it would be interesting to compare the prices. But we've taken a look at a range of monitors. What about the accessories? Now, since all the monitors are VESA mountable, you may want to consider a VESA mount like this guy here, which is one that comes from, I don't know how to pronounce them. I'll have a link to this one. You also get ones that can handle 2 monitors at the same time. Maybe for the 4K monitors, I would buy 2 of these. Maybe for the smaller monitors, I'll buy one that can handle 2 monitors at the same time. Another accessory which I think is really useful is a color calibrator. Now, the colors when you get a monitor will be accurate, particularly the ones I recommend. They tend to have accurate colors out of the box. However, in order to maintain color accuracy over the duration of your use of the monitor, you have to calibrate it, and the calibration devices, the Spider Pro You have X-Rite. If you're using the ViewSonic one, maybe you want to favor X-Rite, which is one that's related to Pantone, but I generally speaking tend to recommend Data Color. This is a way of making sure that the colors in the monitor remain accurate. You get software, you get hardware. If you want to understand how these colorimeters work, I'll link to this page here from it's actually from Pantone X-Rite, and it will explain what these devices are doing and why you need them. And I'm also link to the Data Color page, which will give you some information about how their device actually works. You need something outside the monitor to monitor the actual colors that the monitor is producing, so that any deviation from the expected color, the delta E, any deviation is corrected as you're using the monitor. Last year, Stable Diffusion took the world by storm, and this year, Comfy UI provides a powerful way of controlling Stable Diffusion. If you've come to wonder how machine learning works, how it's possible to create an image from just words, if you would like to unlock the power of Stable Diffusion with this comprehensive course, if you want to learn the techniques and strategies used by top professionals to master this powerful tool, with my expert guidance, you'll gain the knowledge and the confidence to take your skills to the next level. And I think we're going to have a little bit of fun and entertainment along the way. So yeah, don't miss this opportunity to transform your career and achieve your goals, or just to satisfy that curiosity about what this machine learning and AI is all about. Enroll now and start your journey to success. See you soon.